So this scene is more specifically on the context of education, fashion education. So do we need digital draping at uni? Um, so yeah, as you know, we have a number of like young graduates this year, and these couple of years, or current students in our panel on the chairs today. And in the middle of the pandemic, a lot of the universities has been kind of forced into online education, digital education, and a lot of the graduate shows or work in progress web shows being pushed into digital mediums. And some university have like websites that created film showcases or even virtual collection runways. Um, so yeah, I would like to know, for example, Aubrey, I know that you graduated this year as a class of 2020. What do you think of the pandemic has really revealed this importance of digital design solutions in the education context?
Hi, yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Definitely, I think it's really important that we start to incorporate digital fashion processes and methods within our fashion education. I think it really depends on the type of industry that you want to end up in, if it's high fashion, if it's more mainstream or couture, but there should be the presence of it at least so that how the different softwares can go together, what processes lead to the next process, how to go from flat patterning on the computer to a 3D pattern, back to a flat pattern, to the factory. I think that's a really important process that all the students should understand. And I think that having a general knowledge of it is more important than having specific knowledge of all of the different softwares available. I'm going into video games in my own career pathway and moving out of fashion, but I'm finding it's a lot like working within fashion where the end product is touched by everyone, and it's a huge team effort. And it brings me back to like working in ateliers as a kid, and you sell your garment at the end, and you know that everyone's had a hand in doing it. And it's the same sort of process. Like we need to see how, I got this file from this person in an email, but they've spent this amount of time, and this is how it connects to what I'm doing now. And they have that process in mind too. So I think having that knowledge of how these systems go together is what the students are lacking. And, I've just graduated now and I'm presenting some virtual clothing. And my tutors at CSM were very excited, really positive about everything I was doing. But you could tell they had no idea what I was on about. It's kind of like telling your grandma about, something you're doing and they just have no idea, but, they'll root for you anyways. So it would be great to have that presence there. And of course, for more technically focused schools, it's completely necessary.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it is. It's almost like a reversal of knowledge now, where your tutors are classically trained and you are, like you are exploring outside of those like classical means. Like LCF has actually been quite good, I feel, about, this digital transition.
Same.
And I'll ask Damara. So you have been working with digital tools for a while, and you graduated from the BA at LCF. Do you feel like and you're on MA now? You graduated from MA this year from LCF as well, if I'm not wrong.
No, I graduated from the BA in 2018 and from the MA last year.
Yes. Sorry. And you've been working with digital tools for a while. So do you feel like LCF has supported you through this process, and how?
100%. I think that LCF has all the tools to support students through these processes. But the main difficulty is even understanding that they have these processes and that they have this support. For example, when I first started like theorizing what my BA project would be, like a virtual fashion and people not like being naked and then having some sort of superimposed image on top of them, half of my classmates were laughing because it was crazy. And this pandemic has really accelerated this necessity. And then after this presentation, I spoke with my course leader. And because I had this, let's say, natural inclination, he then advised me to contact the Digital Anthropology Lab. And my brain completely exploded. What do you mean we have a digital anthropology lab with 3D printers, VR, AR, 3D scanners, and most of the students don't even know? So LCF is great. They have the Digital Anthropology Lab, the DLL, Digital Learning Lab, if I'm not wrong as well. Where you can learn about different softwares, learn about different processes, and above it all, they really encourage you to think outside the box and make something completely new, make something that will surprise you and that will surprise them as well. But on the other hand, I believe that these tools should be completely embedded into the degrees and into the courses. They shouldn't be a matter of the student being curious about it or not. They should become integrated into the basis of what is necessary to a future fashion practitioner to understand the industry that they are getting into. I think these are tools that, for example, the class of 2020 that graduated virtually and as avatars understands better than anyone. And I think we will see the class of 2020 like a workforce of hundreds and thousands of fashion practitioners that had to really quickly adapt to a completely different reality beyond their expectations. I think that as women were graduates at Central St. Martin's, for example, maybe you wanted a show with press and all of these things that we expect from these institutions. And when this does not happen, we have to innovate and really create opportunities. I think we will see the industry being shaped. And part of this is that universities also have the tools and give the tools that are necessary for students to shape and change the industry.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Damara. That's a really good point. It has been like, revealed now the essential nature of this, which kind of brings me to Costas. So you're part of the Fashion Innovation Agency, which puts digital innovation at the heart of fashion. Do you think students could really benefit from teachings and projects like these if they were compulsory? And do you think it will impact the curriculum long term, what happened this year?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just checking for the sound. So yeah, at the FIA, our remit, we have a wonderful remit from the college, and it is to bridge together technology and fashion partners to create proof of concepts and prototypes, which will allow us to envision how the industry might be in 3 to 5 years from now. So we're really focusing on how the future is going to look like. And the main panels that we're looking into are how designers make their collection, how they sell their collections, and how they showcase their collection. And within the project that we developed, a lot of it is basically how do we create knowledge exchange and how do we create pathways to educate diverse student groups in regards to the utilization of these kinds of tools within their practice. And to answer a question like that, I think that we need to take into consideration, first of all, what are the needs of our students, then what are the needs of the industry in regards to emerging talent, and also what is the vision behind the different courses and universities. I absolutely believe that teachings like this could benefit students from a very early stage in their academic path. And it's, for me, in my personal experience, being a part of the FIA, but also occasionally lecturing at London College of Fashion, it is very exciting to see students, even from first year BA courses, for example, fashion photography and fashion imaging and illustration, to start and think of ways through which they can basically blend emerging practice within the traditional practice and create new kinds of visualizations and results. So I strongly believe that teaching like this should be more easily available to students and more compulsory, because we are living in an era where the future of the fashion industry makes it necessary to educate talent that has multidisciplinary skills, and that it actually adapts these skill set between the merging of traditional and emerging practice. And recently we've seen that through a workshop that we did at the FIA, the AI Catwalk, which basically was a project that bridged and blended together students from diverse courses and backgrounds. So, for example, pattern cutting, to fashion design, but also communications and fashion curation. And students that didn't have any prior understanding, advanced understanding of artificial intelligence, were able to create an entirely new digital fashion show through this course. And that again explains us how these kinds of teachings and these kinds of courses and workshops allow students not only to collaborate, but also how to elevate their individual practice in terms of merging traditional and emerging practice. So yeah, that's really inspiring, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh, thank you so much, Costas. So yeah, thank you to you all for your answers. We're going to go on a 5-minute break.